Hello, and welcome to A Shot Between the Reels. My name is Dan, and over this side...
My name is Brendan.
Hello, Brendan.
Hello, Dan.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well. I'm
Good.
really excited this evening because we've got a great film to cover.
We do, and we are venturing on kind of a bit of a two-parter, isn't it? We've decided to go for an action double bill, but we're doing them over 2 weeks. So, Brendan, what are we going to watch this week?
This week, we have watched Demolition Man.
Wowzers. Demolition Man. 1993, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Director is Marco Bambilla.
Yeah, I was going to leave that to you to say. I wasn't entirely sure, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's kind of like a weird double L. Bambilla, but it might be Bambella.
Maybe, yeah.
Either's great to say, to be honest. So let's look at what Marco has also made. I have no idea, but it's not a name I know. But obviously, it's the great Sylvester Stallone going up against the also great Wesley Snipes.
Yes, it's a formidable pairing. I would say. I would describe it. Yes.
So we will get stuck in a moment. So Marco Bambilla, wow. He's not. This is probably, and now this is going to be saying something. It looks like this could be his greatest film.
Wow.
But
are you telling me it's a one-hit wonder, Dan? Is that what we're going on?
He's only got 8 directing credits on IMDb, so
okay.
And one of them was a TV series called Dinotopia from the early 2000s. So
yeah.
He also did a Kanye West video. It looks like he did the video for the song Power. Okay, there you go. So, yeah. Anyway, back to Demolition Man. Brendan, tell us what is going on in this story. What is the plot?
So, Demolition Man is basically about you've got a cop that gets everything done. He's like the guy you call in. He wrecks the place when he does it, but he does get it done, and he is known as the Demolition Man. So that is our our
Sly. Yeah.
Milestone. And then he's in kind of control of all of that. We've got his character, and then on the other side of that we have Simon Phoenix, who is your main bad guy, played by the excellent Wesley Snipes. And so here it shows them having a kind of face-off at the beginning of the film, and then one way or another through that they're both sent to a maximum penitentiary where they go under experimental freezing. They're frozen in time and then jump forward a number of years, and through no uncertain terms they both come out of freezing, one being the thing to catch the ultimate bad guy, and the bad guy for some reason is released, and then we follow through the story of him catching him. It's very simple.
He's on a parole hearing, isn't he?
Yes.
Simon Phoenix, and it doesn't quite go to plan because he kind of kills everyone and escapes. And yes, the brilliant thing about this is obviously it's in the future, and they're in this kind of society where there isn't crime, or seemingly there isn't.
Yes, yeah.
So the police department, when they are faced with criminal behaviour, are completely incapable of kind of dealing with it.
Yeah,
they can't do anything
about
it.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, what do we do? Like, how do we deal with this?
Well, they straight up, I mean, it says it all, doesn't it? Because they have been without murders for so long. I think they say something since like 2010 or something, and they say that they don't even know what the code is for murder because they haven't heard it in so long. So to say, I mean, there's some really great tongue-in-cheek humor in this film. It knows what it's doing, and they are clearly having like a lot of fun doing it as well.
And I think, well, let's pump the brakes.
Go on.
Pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Because we need to do our star rating.
We do, yeah.
It's time, Brendan. Right. Brendan, hit me with your star rating now.
I gave it 3.5 stars.
Ooh. I don't know why I did a game show, but I did. Okay. So when I went to log this on Listbox, got my phone out, typed in Demolition Man, clicked on it. I'd logged this before, okay, and it said 3 stars, and I said, and I've upgraded it. Demolition Man, IMO, 4 stars.
Oh, wow.
Quattro.
So you could say that you enhanced your calm upon seeing those stars. And like,
I did enhance my calm. Indeed. Indeed. So, Brendan, this film is a lot of fun, as we were just saying. That you can tell that the people making this film, the actors, are just enjoying themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we enjoyed, I mean, certainly for me, I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just, yeah, like you say, lots of tongue in cheek. Now, I have to say, I recently watched a couple of romantic comedies with the wife, not on my own, obviously. Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, there are some rom-coms that are actually very good. Now, one that I particularly like that we watched recently is Miss Congeniality. Okay, I think this is a really funny film.
It's good. I've got a record of saying it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and Sandra Bullock, and the reason why she does lots of rom-coms, she's done quite a few, is because she's genuinely funny.
Yeah.
She genuinely is, and she can do comedy acting, and she is actually very diverse.
Yeah.
When you actually look at the films that she makes and the performances that she can deliver, she is a very, very good actress. And she's great in this.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. She's one of the more interesting characters, actually.
I'd argue she's probably one of the more defining parts about this film. When I was rewatching it again, I mean, this film, like you've said already, is a lot of fun to watch. I think that's what you can really chalk it up to. But the fact that she gives like such a good performance, because she's basically like a bit of a caricature of a person, isn't she? Because she's so far removed from the reality of what our main character knows, because it's like quite a long time out of his time. He's been in the ice spot. He says something like 30 odd years, and then he comes out. So he's, I think it's that. I mean, I could be completely wrong actually now I think about it, but I think there's a set amount of time basically that has gone on, and because of that, him coming out and meeting her, she's very different, and a lot of it is there's quite a lot of buddy cop vibe, I think, really to it. But the differencing in the characters is actually totally what sells this film. I think it's really great because of that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking as well when I was watching this film about some of those classic things that you would find in an action movie made between sort of 1980 and kind of probably mid-90s, really, but kind of, there's a bit of a grey area there, isn't it?
Yeah.
But because that is, I would say, probably the golden era for action films. Okay.
Yeah.
So certainly, probably my favourite action films. There's going to be a lot of those made in that kind of period. Okay. Pure action. Okay. Now, what do we have in this film? We have cheesy lines,
catchphrases.
Yeah, the catchphrases. We've got Sly Stallone muscular body out at one point. We need some sort of muscles, don't we? It's not an action film unless there's some muscles.
Yeah.
What else was there? Come on, tell me, help me, Brendan.
I mean,
there's other things.
There's a bit of minor nudity in it as well. I think that's very common.
Unnecessary boobs.
Yep.
But they're because actually that's just what guys want to see. Yep. Fair enough. Any other things? There was others. I'm sure there are more.
Like ridiculous gunfights.
Ridiculous gunfights. Music.
All the time.
Slow-mos. Unnecessary explosions.
Yeah, loads of them as well.
Yeah, there are loads.
Also, a ridiculous death at the end of the film. I, I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
it's got like all of the trappings, basically, doesn't it? It's
And you know what? I love it.
yeah,
Sign me up. I mean,
it's
obviously,
like
I've given this 4 stars.
it's like a delicious cake, and it keeps on giving.
Yeah,
You want to get every morsel. It's
yeah.
and
And
I
yeah,
kept thinking it's like personally for me what I love is like full of quotable moments. There are so many moments where I found myself laughing at
yeah,
how stupid it is, but it's never at a point where you're. I think it's intentionally making you laugh.
yeah,
So it's not like
yeah,
you're laughing at it; you're laughing with it, and
yeah,
that's what you have to give it props for.
definitely.
It stood the test of time. I think if someone was watching this now, fresh off the bat, I cannot believe they would come away and say I didn't have a good time. I mean, it's
Yeah,
for all intents and purposes, it's done very well.
yeah,
I don't have too many things to complain about it. I think I feel about it almost the same as I probably have done in the past, really.
yeah,
And maybe it might be the fact that we grew up with it a bit. It's
yeah,
probably we have a more strong nostalgia for it.
yeah. It was that era, wasn't it? In many ways,
Mm.
brought up on that kind of action film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's an element that the story is predictable. Even after 20 minutes, you know where this film's going. But it's a thrill just to enjoy it and just to laugh with it. Okay, let's hit some highlight moments. Okay, right. The sex scene is so weird, but it is so funny. It's just like Sly's face when she hands him the headset, and he's like, but yeah, that's purely entertaining.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's great. Any for you, Brendan?
I think there are a lot of standout
There are a
moments.
lot. Yeah,
I really liked I really like basically all of the silly lines that come out of like most of the
yeah,
characters, but I think in particular you've got to give so much prop to Wesley Snipes in this film because
yeah, man.
he is stealing the show like basically all of the time. Whenever
Yeah,
he's on screen, he's his character is just like crazy for the sake of just being crazy. All the
yeah,
stuff that he says, and I'm sure they must have. If he's not ad libbing in some of
yeah,
this stuff, then it's just genius writing. But I think like all of
yeah,
the stuff that he does, the way he acts it, you can never. There would never be a point where you're saying this guy isn't just kind of giving it us all in this film
yeah.
because it's
No, he
pretty
is
great. So
great.
throughout, he's one of
Yeah,
my favorites. I think.
I
Yeah.
100% agree with you. Wesley Snipes is so good in this.
Yes. This
Now,
is
as I was watching this,
go on.
um, so have you seen the Netflix series The Last Dance about the Chicago Bulls? I don't imagine you have. Okay, so do you know? You might know who Dennis Rodman is.
Yes, I think so.
So,
Yeah,
what is Dennis Rodman famous for?
I'm trying trying to think. You have to.
So he played for the Chicago Bulls, but in the 90s, at some point in the 90s, he started dyeing his hair. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
and he basically. So I was like, so who did it first? Was it Wesley Snipes and Demolition Man, or was it Dennis Rodman? And when I looked it up, Dennis Rodman dyed his hair because he loved Wesley Snipes in
You are
Demolition Man,
joking. That is
and
amazing.
but he still dyes his hair now. Like he's been dyeing it for like years now, probably 25 years.
That is the power of this film. That
Isn't
is
that
amazing.
mad? I thought it was great
That's
when I found
great.
that.
I
I
love
mean,
that.
like to be fair, Dennis Rodman's taken it to like, he took it to other levels. Like it was like green or like leopard print. I just absolutely mental.
Yeah.
Seriously cool as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, Dennis Rodman probably relates to Simon Phoenix in ways that most people wouldn't. But he is a basketball legend. So there you go. But anyway, that was fun. Fun little fact that I just kind of stumbled upon when
I
watching
like
the film.
that. That's
So
good.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Wesley is the best
Yeah.
in this. I like the rat burger moment when he's like when they go underground, and he just is drawn towards the beer
And
and
he
the
looks kind
burger.
of disgusted as he's eating it, and then goes, "Not bad."
Yeah, and he carries on eating it because he knows that like anything else, that if any other food that he's going to get is going to be nothing like the food he's used to. So he just carries on eating a
I
rat
just
burger.
love, obviously, special call out obvious to the three seashells as well,
Oh yeah, it's a great gag actually.
and also the constant mentions of being fined 1 credit or 2 credits.
Now that is comedic genius
It's
because
great.
there are moments where the scene is actually meant to be serious.
And you can hear it.
You can just hear it in the background. Yeah, it's just like John's
And they
fine.
never,
You
I
have
love
been fined
it. They
1 credit.
they never forget about it. It's constantly going as
Yeah,
well. It's really good.
yeah, and that is a great gag
Yeah.
when with the three seashells where he just starts saying swear words and then he uses those fines as toilet paper. It is brilliant. It is very very funny.
I think apparently, upon Googling as well, because I was genuinely interested, they did say how the three seashells are meant to work. But upon hearing how it works, you do not want to know how it works,
Okay.
which I actually think is quite good. So they actually really did know how it works, but they just don't really want to explain it to people. They leave it more or less to your imagination. But
Okay.
there you go.
Fair enough.
If there's anything then, Dan, that you are not sure about the film, is there anything that you want to say?
I mean, I think what I said earlier about it being a little predictable is probably where it kind of comes down. It's not tearing up too much new ground here, but it is playing and having fun with something that is pretty obvious in terms of where
Yeah,
the story's going.
yeah,
And like we said, it ticks off all the classic things you expect to see in an action film of that time. Um,
absolutely. And
so
it
yeah, I
ties
think
in.
that's me.
It kind of ties it in quite a neat bow. I think the one thing for me that pulled it down a little bit is, yeah, again, it's quite predictable, but also I wasn't a terribly massive fan of the Edgar Friendly character.
Yeah,
I think the actor in general, I wasn't completely sold on the performance. Maybe also because of the fact that he speaks like he's someone directly out of the main character's time, but he's not at all. He's kind of
no,
years after them, and there's no real
yeah,
explanation for anything to do with the character. He serves a purpose to move the story forward, which is
yeah,
fine. They couldn't probably cover everything in it, but yeah, that kind of
yeah.
lets it down a little bit. But
I think that's a fair criticism. One thing I do want to also say: the names of the characters in this. Obviously, someone was having a lot of fun when they were naming these characters, like John Spartan.
yeah,
Obviously, he's the hero. Simon Phoenix is just a very cool name.
yeah,
Even Lenina Huxley for Sandra's character. I mean, that's quite an interesting name.
yeah, it's good.
I didn't like Cocteau as a bad guy's name, but whatever.
You think
Uh,
they were going for
but
closer to cockroach, maybe?
yes, maybe Associate Bob. He needs a special mention. What a great character he is. Completely useless, but he's just there
Good.
for the banter, really.
Yeah,
But yeah, again, Edgar Friendly, even Zachary Lamb. They're quite kind of, I don't know, slightly over the top names or slightly kind of unusual. But I quite like that actually. It's a bit quirky.
do you also like the franchise wars and Taco Bell being the only
Yeah,
the only
just
restaurant that survives?
it's just the
So
way
all
like
restaurants
Sly's
are
like
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Like, go to Taco Bell.
That's what I mean. There's a lot of like fantastically quotable moments in this film, and that's
Yeah,
probably what it all comes down to. I like a lot of "Be well."
yeah, yeah. Lots of that. No, I really enjoyed it. So I
Yeah,
think this is yeah. I would happily watch this again down the line sometime in the future.
it's a
Um,
recommendation.
it
Yeah,
is a high recommendation from a shot between the reels from both of us.
yeah.
There you go. So, anything else you want to add, Brendan?
I think that's.
No.
I think that's
Okay.
me
So we'll. I'm just sorry. I'm just joking. I'm
done.
oh, I'm a bad boy.
Okay.
There we go. So next part of our action double bill will be soon. So enjoy. There we go. It's time to say goodbye, Brendan. Bye.